Hey, Kentuckiana, a good morning to you. We're at 6 o'clock in the morning here on your Friday. I'm Haley Minogue, and you might notice I'm riding solo this morning, but guys, that's okay. Eric is out at the Galt House. He's inside the Thunder Command Center. Eric, you've got the cool assignment this morning.
I do, and you're never really all alone. We're always here with you.
Oh,
we
honey.
really are. We're just here with you in a better place today. The Thunder Command Center is one of those places where I just love coming up here because there's so much happens in this small room. Now, I can't really tell you how the fireworks start because there's a lot of buttons over here, but I can tell you how they stop because this one button is very large and very prominent. It's the abort button, and it's curious to me why it's so difficult to launch the fireworks, but so easy to stop them. But we'll learn more about that coming up a little bit later in the show, Haley.
All right, Eric. Sometimes I think we all wish we had that button in life. Colleen, I wish we could hit it right now to stop the rain from coming today.
Oh, I would be hitting that thing like crazy. But thankfully that rain is expected to clear out just in time for thunder over Louisville. Cold front is passing through, so heads up. It might be a little bit chilly, but I think we should all head out. It is going to be an awesome event. So here's where the rain is right now. It is going to be a slow moving, barely moving. I mean, probably like 10 miles per hour off to the east. So slow moving rain right now just over Du Bois County. Starting to see some of those sprinkles pick up over in Hardinsburg and Brandenburg. This is actually the driest time of the day. We'll continue to see that rain pick up off and on throughout the afternoon, especially overnight tonight. Right now, holding on to the 50s and 60s. Very mild start to our day, but we are only going to get to the 70s. So actually with the rain and the clouds, that's not going to move around a whole lot. So hit or miss shower throughout the midday, but then overnight tonight, it is really expected to ramp up, expected to clear out tomorrow morning. Now, behind this cold front, we have some wind in that forecast. I will time out the rain showers and talk about what you can expect for thunder over Louisville coming up here in 10 minutes.
Alrighty, Colleen, thanks so much. 6:01 right now. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the mass shooting at Old National Bank where 5 people were killed and several others were hurt. Now, there are calls for the AR-15 used in the attack to be destroyed, and those calls are even coming from the gunman's family. WHAS11's Connor Steffen has more.
As Louisville begins the slow road to recovery, some believe a first move is gun reform. That includes the family of Old National Bank mass shooter Connor Sturgeon. They want Sturgeon's AR-15 destroyed. It was purchased 6 days before the shooting. The family goes on to say, quote, "This tragedy is yet another indication that meaningful, common-sense gun safety measures must be enacted. We respectfully urge the Kentucky State Legislature to lead the way by changing Kentucky law to remove the gun auction provision."
I could not believe that they had this law when I first heard about it.
Bob Irvine is a longtime friend of the late Old National Bank Senior Vice President Tommy Elliott.
I think what Tommy would say is do something. For God's sakes, do something.
By coincidence, Irvine submitted an opinion piece to WHAS11 News today. The same day, Sturgeon's family came out strong for reform, a significant parallel, he believes.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you something. I've prayed about them. I've grieved for them. I mean, I just can't imagine how hard it's been on them to go through this.
The calls fall in line with Mayor Craig Greenberg's directive since getting elected, destroying guns instead of sending them off to the KSP auction block.
It's it's an interesting symbolic gesture, but I want the public to know that is a symbolic gesture. That will do absolutely nothing.
Republican Councilman Anthony Piagentini believes we must look toward other ideas, although he's against having a red flag law for Kentucky.
They can take immediate action, right? Put together a task force going after illegal guns, immediately putting together some emergency group tackling mental illness or mental health.
While his views differ from most at the local level, there is agreement on one front, giving Louisville autonomy to deal with guns.
I want as much flexibility for the people as Louisville as possible.
Irvine hopes his personal tragedy can create palpable change in Louisville.
What we had last week, when that law came to be, that's an insult to the terrible injury this whole city has felt.
The ATF confirmed to us here at WHAS11 they do have the AR-15 rifle in evidence. A spokesperson says a federal investigation is ongoing. The ATF will adhere to all federal laws in relation to any seized evidence. The Louisville Urban League and the NAACP are calling for changes to gun laws in Louisville and throughout the state of Kentucky after the recent slew of mass shootings. The groups are focusing on red flag laws that would allow courts to seize guns from anyone who seems to be a danger to themselves or others. They're also calling for mandatory background checks on all gun sales and for Louisville to have the autonomy to create and regulate its own gun laws. Community leaders say they'll know they're going to receive some pushback from the state, but they want to at least show an attempt at changing gun laws.
And we may not win today, but we're going to advocate for the months and the days, months and years ahead, and eventually the public will speak, and when they speak, they'll speak at the ballot box.
Some state Republicans are open to a red flag law, but they'd like to see a court process for the person whose gun ownership would be restricted. The Community Foundation of Louisville is creating permanent support systems for victims of gun violence through 3 new funds. The first is a cash payment to survivors of mass casualty crimes like the Old National Bank shooting. The second is a Survivors of Gun Violence Recovery Fund for medical treatment and rehab. The third is a Community Safety and Healing Fund. That's going to go towards initiatives to reduce gun violence.
C-150 banned gender-affirming care for minors, right? How do we feel about that?
U of L students gathered Thursday to protest the recent passing of SB 150 by the Kentucky legislature. The new law restricts gender-affirming care for minors and prevents teachers from having to use pronouns different than the student's sex. Some students have asked U of L to increase funding for queer counseling and increase the number of providers that can provide gender-affirming care on campus. U of L says it's had considerable dialogue with students and leadership, and there's a request in upcoming budget for increased student support services. It's provided training in transgender issues to a number of employees, with more education planned in the future. U of L also says it's begun to make changes to housing procedures to ensure fairness for all students. And before we hit the track for the Kentucky Derby this Saturday, Thunder over Louisville is returning to the Metro. We got an inside look at how the preps are going. The Clark Memorial Bridge shut down Thursday to set up for the fireworks show. And mall crews were busy unloading boxes of fireworks. Planning for the big show actually began months ago.
Choreography is a really special element. The choreographers close their eyes. They picture what they see listening to the music. They illustrate that on paper, and then they add the pyrotechnic effects.
It's a really cool process. Zambelli Fireworks, the business behind the show, says the greatest satisfaction is looking at the crowd's faces and watching those reactions. Colleen, this is going to be your first Thunder. The people around you are going to all be staring at you.
Yes, I'm so excited. Oh, I hope not. We have a lot of rain today, but not for Thunder over Louisville. It is looking hopeful. Rounds of rain expected to clear out by tomorrow morning. So the good news, trending dry, but it's still going to be breezy and chilly. I'm talking wind chill values potentially in the 40s. I will show you your temperature setup for that big event tomorrow in 10 minutes. Sam, what's that one thing we should know about traffic at 6:07 a.m.?
Yeah, good morning. Stepping out the door, we're watching a disabled vehicle right now on 65 heading southbound through downtown. I'll let you know where exactly this vehicle is located and any kind of closures ahead of Thunder over Louisville coming up here in a few minutes.